So, I finally found the time to do some more GTX 260 overclocking, and today I'm going to be focusing on taking a score on air cooling. So I've decided that I will be ramping up the cooling solutions as I go. So first I want to completely max everything out on air, then I'll go on water, and then I'll do Sub-Zero again. Just because, I want to gradually walk up the settings, because if I know it works on air, it probably works on water, and I know that probably works Sub-Zero. When I do it the other way around, I have no idea what just kind of works as a base. So, yeah. I have the Accelero heatsink on, the card is delidded, so it's direct die, and I have the Pallet GTX 780 fans bolted to it, so we have a lot of airflow, which we do need because the baseplate of this card does not fit with the Accelero on, so the memory chips have no cooling on them other than the airflow. So it is quite good that we have the extra airflow. I have another fan pointed at the thing, and then the backside is also getting a bit of airflow from the RAM fan. And yeah, that's basically the setup. I have my Elmo Labs EBC connected, so we have voltage control, and I have installed a fresh Windows 7 that I'm gonna be using now. And yeah, so the score to beat is this one right here. This is currently first place for the air stage, so 1844 points, which is quite impressive because my previous is like over 100 points lower, I think. And the clock speeds are 837 for the core, which I'm pretty confident I can reach or even exceed. But then 1440 for the memory. Now I know my card can do 1458 on the memory when it's Sub-Zero and has the cooling plate on the memory. I don't know if the memory chips care enough about temperature so that, they'll get worse on air, or if they'll do the same, because I don't actually know what this guy was running for Sub-Zero. I think this person is one of the people that did Sub-Zero as well. And I think I saw one person at 1440 and then one person at 1458 for Sub-Zero. So I'm not entirely sure. But yeah. And then for the shader, they're also running 1800, which they actually don't need to. Like 1800 shader would be at 900 core. Setting your shader a bit higher than you absolutely have to does give you a little bit of performance, but really only a little bit. And getting it stable can be pretty hard. But yeah, so I'm gonna try to reach the same clock speed here, and then hopefully I'll just kind of get a similar or better score, because we can see this person's also on Windows 7. They're using a very similar setup. They have a 9900 KS, I'm on an 8700K. Mine's clocked 300 megahertz higher, and then this person's on a 9 gene. On an 11 gene, I'm on a 9 Apex. And then my RAM's also actually better. I'm at 4400, this is just 4000 at pretty similar timings. So, yeah, this is the thing to beat. So, yeah, I guess let's just get started and see what we can do. Alright, I have a base run. The score is quite far off where we want to go. And yeah, so base run for this is, as you can see, 800 megahertz core, 1600 shader, and 1300 memory. So all of these still have some way to go. Core is the closest to where we want to be. That's only 37 megahertz off. Shader, well, it's the bare minimum. The shader cannot be lower if we want 800 megahertz. So if we want to go those extra 37 megahertz on the core, we're going to have to do that times 2 on the shader. So, yeah. And the memory, well, I know the memory can do that. I've done pre-testing on the card, and I know that the after you cap mod, specifically add multilayer ceramics to the Samsung HJ08H die that's on this card, you can get 1300 to 1320 actually stable at stock voltage. and then like 1330 with like a small bump in the voltage. As you can see, we're already at 2.15 on the memory, which is just kind of like the starting voltage that I use. The stock would be 100 millivolts lower, but the core is already at 1.3 volts, which is not that great, because I think I remember my older card, so the other card that actually died, I remember that one doing in excess of 800 megahertz core on the stock heatsink with less than 1.3 volts. So it looks like for the core, this card is not as strong as my older card that I ended up accidentally killing. Or maybe I'm just remembering the values wrong, but it looks like this one doesn't have as strong of a core. So yeah, so if we wanna... I wanna do a bit of math, so we're at 1590 now, and let's say we get another 10% out of our card. That's still like 100 points below where the high score is. So we're gonna need to get like, I don't know, 18%. That will put us in first place. So I guess more like 15%. Yeah, that's slightly below, so... So let's do that. And that's pretty much exactly the high score. So we need to get about 16-ish% more performance out of this than we already have. And, well, I know for a fact that Sub-Zero, this card can get barely do a gigahertz on the core, so there's not that much left in the core. Especially if we consider we're on air cooling. But I do know that this card can do the big boy memory clock. I just don't know if I can do it as easily on air cooling than as I can do it on Sub-Zero, because I only did it under Sub-Zero for now, where the memory chips are a lot colder. And when I like touch this, they get pretty warm. Like GDDR3 runs very hot. Like these chips probably in like the 60 to 70 degrees range already. And this is gonna get even worse as we raise the clock speed and put more voltage into it. So I do not know how much heat the memory chips can handle before we get problems. So yeah, I think I'm gonna try getting my core up first, because that just seems easier. So I just wanna know like what the core can do. And then I'm gonna focus all on memory clocks to get them as high as possible. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, I think that actually beats my current high score. I think my current best is 1733. So, well, at least that confirms that my previous score was kinda basic, because my previous score was on like the blue Sparkle card I have, which has lower spec memory and is just a random wild card. Whereas this one is this specifically is a palette. The other one was a gain ward, same thing. But yeah, so I have really only given everything one slight bump. I'm not seeing any artifacts yet, which is good, because as you start nearing the like maximum clock that your memory can do, these things like to start artifacting a lot. So, like, I know there's a little bit of temperature scaling in the memory. It doesn't seem to be a lot, because this is doing 1320 without any visual glitches, just fine. And by the way, if you're wondering about the background noise, I have opened all the windows, 100%. Because, well, this is the air cooling stage. And, well, if my ambient temperature is lower, then this is gonna work a lot more efficiently. And my room temperature is usually like around 20 to 23 degrees. And in the rules of the competition, we're technically allowed to go all the way down to 15 degrees ambient temperature. So my windows are open to get me closer to that, because that's just gonna make the cooling better. But yeah, so we have a 1735, and like, if you think about that, that's a pretty big jump. Like, we were at 1590, now we're at 1735. We just jumped over the entire 1600 range. And I don't think it's from those 10 megahertz core or those 20 megahertz shader we got. I'm pretty sure that's from the 20 megahertz in memory, because that's just how important memory is. Like, if we try 10 megahertz more, now it might start artifacting, because I haven't given it quite a lot of voltage yet. But if we run this, just like 10 megahertz more memory, I think this is gonna get us pretty good score already. Because I think my other air score is at 1260 memory, because that was on the Sparkle card, which I think at the time did not have any cap mods on it. Or maybe just some very basic ones. And like so the thing is, these cards, they scale very well with cap mods, but specifically the memory loves having multi-layer ceramic cap mods. So not the big can types that you put directly at the output, just the tiny little, like very small, like brownish capacitors. If you just find every single one of them around the memory chips and stack another on top of it, or at the side of it, this is what the memory chips love. That's why I can do 1332 at like the same voltage, where without the cap mods I can only do 1269. And as you've seen with the score just now, as we're gonna see with the score in a few seconds, or more like a minute, memory clock on these things is so important. I did not think memory clock would be that important on these, considering that, you know, it is a high core GPU for the time, and it has a massive memory bus. I thought that memory bandwidth wise this thing would not be super starved, but evidently it is super memory starved. So yeah, high memory clock's very important on this one. I'm gonna stop commenting now. I'm just gonna let this run through so you can see the score increase, and then I'm gonna try keep pushing the core. Actually, that's surprisingly little extra score. Maybe I'm not entirely, right with this one. So, well, maybe we just need to push a lot more. Or maybe this is actually core bound right now, but once we get the core higher, we will see more memory scaling. Maybe we just hit the memory clock at which we just need to push the core to make the extra memory clock actually do something. So, let's try that now. Let's give this another go, and it seems to still be running. Let's see if it actually passes though. Alright, so we got a 1762. No more massive score increases, it seems. So, yeah, but we're getting close. We're within 100 points of the high score now. So, and like, we only had 1820 core. I know the memory can do a lot more than this. We have still not raised our voltages. So, I think we have a pretty good shot here. So let's just keep going. Okay, 840 crashed it pretty quickly. So, at this point we need more V-core. A handy trick for spending less time after the card crashes is to just go into the device manager and disabling the card here, because that also gets rid of the save mode, just as restarting does, but this is a lot faster than just restarting. So yeah. So I've started doing that. I kind of wish you could like have a shortcut for the device manager on the desktop, which you can have in some Windows editions, but I haven't figured out how to do it in Windows 7. Hey, we got it. 846 passed. Okay. So make a shortcut for that. I'm gonna try a bit more, but given how much I had to raise the voltage for this one, I don't think we're gonna get more than that. I'm pretty sure this is gonna just crash. Yeah, it's just gone. So yeah, I'm gonna try a bit more on the core. Maybe we'll get another 10. But it looks like 846 might be the limit. Okay, just short of 1800. But we now have a faster core and the same shader clock as first place. Now, like, the shader might even do more. I haven't tested more than this yet, but it is stable at 1800. So let's make another shortcut with that. Yeah, like, I'm gonna see if the shader has more in it, and then we're gonna push memory, and hopefully it's gonna scale just as well as it does with Sub-Zero. Okay, about 25 points to go. Then we have first place, and this is only 1350 mem. I hope it keeps scaling and does 1458, because then I will have a decent buffer of score, so that, you know, the person can't beat me back by just getting 3 extra points. But as you can see, it is starting to really artifact now. Like, it is getting pushed to the very edge now. Oh, this might be it. This might be it. Oh, 11 points. 11 points. We're actually gonna have to go all the way with the memory clock to beat the first place. But damn it, we're gonna do it. No, it crashed. No. Oh, that could have been core though. Could have been core though. I'm just gonna rerun it, and if it happens again, then I'll finally bump memory voltage. No! Oh, you were almost done! No! Oh, come on! Okay, more VMem, more VMem. We need more VMem. Come on, come on. I swear this is gonna be like an 1843 or something. Come on, like the average FPS is basically exactly what the first place has. Oh, 5 points. I'm 5 points short. Ah, come on. It is not happy. Okay, okay. Save that, save that. Screenshotting it off of my OBS. Oh my god. Try beat that. Try it. I wish you good luck. Oh, I got 1458 to pass. Like, after 1380 worked, I just went for it. Like, I had to put the voltage to like 2.35, and you can see how it's barely holding together. But oh, and it crashed. Oh. Oh my god. Oh. Yeah, so I guess that's done. Like there is a chance. So like, I don't think I'm getting the memory any higher than this, because it is not holding together. And I think the next step is like 1470 or something like that. It is not gonna do that. It did not do that under Sub-Zero, so it's not gonna do it under air. there is a slight chance there's more in the core. Like, you know, with this amount of cooling, I could actually do like 1.5 volts, maybe even more. We might get another bit out of the core, but like the thing is, with at like minus 50 degrees, these things only do what, like a gigahertz. So it's not like we have much to go.